Welcome to Winsley's Writing Workshop, the personal narrative, or #W3. For this writing workshop, our learning target is going to be where we examine and use the features of narrative writing, and the goal is for you to be able to write your own personal narrative. So let's get started. So, what is a personal narrative? Well, VIP number 1, it's something you do every day. It's literally a conversation between you and an audience, aka the reader. It's something you feel strongly about. You're never going to write about something or even talk about something that matter if you don't feel some level of passion about it. And lastly, it's a reenactment of an event in your life. So typically look at it like where you are shooting a quick Instagram story, or you're doing a quick recap of your day on Twitter or Facebook. That's what a personal narrative essentially is. So, how do we spot a personal narrative? Well, way to spot it, number 1, is it's always in first person. So that means you have the I, the we, and the us. And it has some dialogue, some conversation, but not too much. You don't want to bore or drag on the events. It has facts and details, meaning it has a beginning, it has a clear middle, and it has a concise end where you leave your reader satisfied. It's full of sensory details, so it has lots of imagery where I know as I'm reading, I can see what you saw, I can smell what you saw, I can almost feel the things that you touched. I can taste, I can hear everything that you did just by your words. VIP number 2, it has a so what. What is the so what? It's the significance. How did it change you? How did this event change you? And then ultimately, what did you learn? What was the overall theme of the narrative you're writing about? So let's get some background information about the different types of writing. So there typically are 4. First, there are expository. Expository gives info or explanations about a topic. So a news article. Narrative, which is what we're learning today, tells a story. So a short story, a novel, or a little 1-2 page memoir. Descriptive describes using sensory details, aka a poem or some type of recipe. But it still doesn't tell a story. It describes mainly using those sensory details. So it has a lot of similes and metaphors and alliteration. And lastly, persuasive is an attempt to change one's POV or point of view. So an editorial, an opinion, an op-ed essay, or an editorial in a newspaper. So how do I write a personal narrative? Well, you want to use the 5 writing features. Well, first, you want to have focus. All focus is the plan. That's where you gather your ideas and you want to make sure that you have a clear direction in where you're going in your writing. The second feature you want to use is organization. We mentioned that before, where your story has to be organized. It has to be planned out. It has to have a clear beginning, middle, and end. You want to connect your thoughts. You don't want to start us at the end and then take us to the beginning and then take us back to the middle. It has to be organized. So focus and organization pretty much go hand in hand. Once you got your focus and your organization down pat, you want to focus on the support and elaboration. This is where you provide the most specific and most powerful details that are going to engage the reader, trap the reader, make the reader want to keep reading your story. VIP number 3, word choice here is very important because you want to make sure that you are, once again, engaging them, giving them those sensory details. And that's all about support and elaboration. And lastly, your ideas should be related. You don't want to tell me a story about your first day in kindergarten and then talk about your first day where you got a cat. You want to make sure your ideas are related. Next, the last 2 are about the how you write, the conventions. So you want to have good grammar use. There's nothing worse than reading a personal narrative or any type of writing where there's poor grammar, because that loses you and that stumbles the reader, and the reader will just stop reading your story. Your sentences should flow, and they should have fluency. Fluency just means they flow. Fluency, flow, and that's VIP number 4. You don't want to have short, choppy sentences like, I am Sue. I am 17. I have a dog. I like to watch TV. Your sentences should have more flow. One day, back in 1978, a young girl was born and the world was changed. See how that flows a little bit better? And then lastly, style. Style is like what I like to say, a little swag, where you know your writing is popping or your writing is lit. It's good. It's really good. So it's the voice of the narrative. And that's your voice. You're writing it. It's about you. It's a personal narrative. So it should be natural. Once again, it's you. And that's VIP number 5. Some don'ts. Don't overgive information. You don't want to give too much. There's nothing worse than having a long Facebook post. It's already long, and then you see the see more words. Well, you know you got to have even longer. Nothing worse. Don't overgive. Give exactly what's needed. Stay focused. Stay organized. Avoid an alarm clock story. AKA, it all started when my alarm clock went off and I slept through it. I'm bored already. Don't jump your reader. Don't put me in your kindergarten class and then fast forward me 10 years. Don't jump me. Prepare. If you're going to jump me, prepare the jump. But remember, a personal narrative is about a specific event in your life, not several. And lastly, don't leave your reader hanging. A personal narrative is not your opportunity to create a cliffhanger or give a surprise ending. While yes, you may want to use some iceberg theories and some iceberg principles, that means 90% of your story is under the surface and you only give us 10%. You don't want to leave us hanging where we're lost and we didn't understand the point of your text in the first place. All right, so that's everything regarding the personal narrative. I look forward to reading some of your personal narratives. And remember, there's greatness in you. How are you going to be great today?